Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Performance Cafe. It's lovely to have you here with us today as we continue on a discussion we started last week about personal development. Now, I made the point that, when it comes to personal development, the problem that we have is that we're all about it over December because we wish we had done it, and we're all over it in January because we're planning to do it, and by February, well, life just gets normal and, we lose it along the way. And so I thought today we could take the opportunity to actually revisit. In fact, for all of February, it's the month of love. Let's give our personal development some love over this February month. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is now, just as a recap, those of you who watched last week would know that we were talking about a pond of water that had no input and no output area, so it was getting rather stagnant. And we used that as a metaphor for the kinds of things that can go wrong when we don't actually practice personal development. And I think that the first place, when we normally say to people, well, you must do self-development, people, the first thing they go is, oh, at work, I need to skill X, Y, Z. And I understand that. And I think it's the easiest way of doing it. But the problem that we have there is that, unfortunately, there's a part that we are skipping out. We are not actually looking at ourselves in the process. Yes, we're looking at things like my skill set for work and how well I do at work. But I think there's something around personal development for me that is much closer to home than just, what skill am I good at? And so there's almost like this little prequel step that I want to talk to you about today. And it has a couple of factors that come together to create the kind of environment where you can more adequately assess what personal development you need going forward. The first thing is self-awareness. And again, here we so quickly go, but I know I don't do this, I don't do that. Yes, but it's all within the work context. For me, when I speak about personal development, it's incredibly important that we consider it not just from the work context, but from the whole person context. So if communication is an issue at work, understandable, it's important, it should be dealt with. However, if communication is a problem at home, in the community, well, then I think it's a nice, robust theme to look at. This is also about understanding you yourself away from everything else. So, for example, what are your strengths and weaknesses? And what are the character things that you would like to improve so that it's not just about the skill set you have at work, but it's all of you. And I just want to, while it's very important for me that we're talking about the whole person, definitely integrating personal growth into your work life is as important. How do I grow not just my skills, but who I am at work? So while I create this barrier and go, it's not just about work, it's not just about life away from work either. And this is some of the work that I do the most, is about how people integrate their personal growth into their daily life, whether it's at home or at work. And coaching can really help us identify, those strengths, those weaknesses. Where do we need to improve? What do we need to focus on? The next thing, once we've worked on all the self-awareness, one of the things that I think we have to absolutely embrace is a bit of a mindset shift. I think very often, and I've spoken about this before in some of the other videos, we were very much raised in the concept that, by the age of 21, your brain is stagnated and you know what you know and you are who you are and things will never change. And I think that there are a couple of things that as a coach, I've come to realize. Well, firstly, if you look at neuroscience, we now know about brain plasticity. We know about people who have literally had a portion of their brain destroyed, where other areas of the brain picked up on those functions. And even if it was slower, more delayed, and not as accurate, they did get some sense of that back. So the brain can grow, can learn new things, can adjust up to a very old age. I think when we come to mindset shifts, there's two big ones for me. The one is, of course, the growth mindset. I've spoken about this a lot. And that is if we take into account that we can continue learning and we take into account the growth of technology and the environment and how fast life moves, then we also understand that we have to have a growth mindset. And a growth mindset is just about having a predisposition towards learning. And I don't mean book learning necessarily, although that's also kind of fun. What I mean is it's about understanding that I can't do something yet. I can learn, I can grow, I can move forward. And so for me, that growth mindset is the first big thing. Because once I become aware of who I am, if I don't understand that I can learn and grow and adjust, well, there's nothing, we might as well put personal development on the back burner. Well, we might as well just kick it out because it's not possible in our frame of mind. The other thing that I'm quite passionate about when we talk about mindset shifts is that we have limiting beliefs and that we need help in overcoming those. You see, a limiting belief is something that I believe I can't do because I decided I can't do it. Now, sometimes there's really good reason for that. I, for example, have bought several gym memberships, and over time, a lot of them have gone to waste. Therefore, I now have a belief that I'm not good at going to gym and being fit and healthy. But you see, if we keep on playing that story to ourselves, that's where we're going to stay. Now, what if I tell you that I'm actually quite good about what I eat and that I'm quite fond about walking outside in nature? So you can see I'm not bad at being healthful. I'm just not great at gym. And that's what happens. A limiting belief becomes such an overarching thing that we believe that we always feel like, well, I don't, and I should have, and I could have, and I would have. But actually, all we need to do is sit down and understand, what is that belief? What does it mean to me? What is its impact? And from there, we go, if I really want to do this, how do I use that brain plasticity, my ability to learn new habits, that concept of yet, to get to the point of I now know how I can change this, and I go about making that happen. The next thing is, if we've got self-awareness and we are constantly learning and wanting to change, well, one thing that we need to then do is find the way to do the learning. And the learning that I love most is lifelong learning. I had the incredible fortune of being married. I had the incredible fortune of being married for almost 24 years. And it was quite interesting that there was always this concept of people get married and then they stay together forever. And, they live happily ever after when we were growing up. And what I actually found is that you've got two people in a relationship and they constantly moving, changing, growing, maybe ungrowing when things get tough, when things get traumatic or hard. And so for me, I always take that as the ideal little example of learning happens lifelong because things are happening to us and we are being forced to change, to grow, to mature. And so I think the moment that we think, I'm done with learning, I'm done with growing, well, actually then life might as well end because there's nothing to achieve, there's nothing left. And we see this in business quite frequently where people are embracing new skills and new knowledge sets in order to, get a promotion or move up in the rank and file, maybe become a manager or a leader. And so I think that just as much as it happens in work, it happens in life. And so it's important that we remain curious in order to keep on fueling this personal growth. And then, I've said it before, I'll say it again, place to balance the personal and the professional development so that we make sure that both happen, not just the professional development. Of course, you're on the inside track when your personal development aligns closely with your professional development and you feel that where you are is truly who you are, and therefore that makes that balancing act easier. So we've got the self-awareness, we've got the growth mindset, we've got the shift that we've made, we understand that we need to be lifelong learners. As they say, a goal without a plan is just a dream. And that is where we need to get really intentional and get into action and really decide, what is this that I want to develop? What are these things that I want to work on? And then take that and go, how do I get that done? Well, firstly, it's really great just to set a bunch of SMART goals and then plan out the milestones. Remember, the SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Sometimes we do need to go just a little bit further and also potentially get someone like me, a coach who can partner with you. It becomes basically an accountability partner. Also is really good at ferreting out whether those SMART goals are that smart and whether, you are being realistic. What I love most about coaching around goals is that when people get frustrated, and that's normally the point where we see the goal just fall away, they've got someone like me to come to and to say, I'm stuck and I don't understand what's going on or how to get unstuck. And of course, the moment that you've got a sounding board who understands where you're coming from, what your overall plan is and how you see this, well, that person can help you find your way out of the stuckness. And then the last thing is understand that, as we said, the learning is lifelong. Goal achievement is lifelong. It's never going to end. We're going to finish with this set of goals, but actually, we're just going to be consistent and find something else to learn and something else to learn and something else, another way to grow, another way to be, another way to feel, and another way to act. So this is a lifelong journey and you're always in process. So don't actually give up. Just keep going, even when it feels like you're not doing it well enough. So I would like to invite you to start by committing to this continuous personal development and to carry on watching this video and maybe review the previous one as well. See what you can take out of there in order to start fueling this growth that keeps on going. And I hope that you are able to achieve that self-awareness, that you are able to make the mindset shift, and that you are able to do the continuous learning once you've set that goal so you can achieve it. If you found this episode about goal setting for personal development useful, I'd love you to join us on all of our social media channels. And of course, all of these get not only recorded and posted, but we also turn them into blogs on our website, performforward.com. If there are any topics that you'd like to hear about, please let me know by popping them into the comments on all our social media, and we will see if we can cover those for you. But that's it from me for today. Until next time, when I will meet you again at the Performance Cafe, and we'll carry on talking personal development. Bye-bye.